equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom. In your face. All the C's. Face. It's Saturday morning. Beautiful. Beautiful Saturday morning downtown Lincoln. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, Lincoln. You're gorgeous this morning. Fantastic weather. Should be a great day. There may be some clouds rolling in, but as of right now, sitting at the corner of 11th and O Street, looks fantastic. It is busy down here. Cars everywhere, people on foot everywhere. The scooters have been active this morning already as well. Should be a fantastic Saturday. Lots to talk about over the course of the next 2 hours. We're going to go 2 hours long today. Hang out before the guys from Lincoln Youth Football show up. Tank and Sandman coming through. Should be a pretty good Saturday. I'll ask you what you're doing, what you're watching. What is your focus? What is your Saturday mission? What is your Saturday focus? Text in to the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Want to be a part of what we're doing? Come on, hit us with a what's up. Appreciate you hanging out on a Saturday and whatever you're doing. If you're in the car or in the garage or you got your headphones on, or if you're like me, you're at work on a Saturday. But that's okay because my work ain't work. My work is love, and I'm glad for it. You can follow on all the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. If you have not paused, download the Ticket app so you have it. Goes everywhere you go, we go. So download the app. You can do the same thing with Amazon Prime as well. So to do that, disclaimer in full, this show is absolutely like Forrest Gump chocolates. Never know where it's going to end up. Never know what you're going to get. Those are statements of truth. I confess that openly. That I can have a list of suggested topics to talk about over the course of the next 2 hours. Who knows what we could end up? We could end up in Paris. We could end up in Iceland. We could end up, I don't know where we're going to end up. We are going to talk Husker baseball because, overnight, in case, your humanity forced you to go to sleep. And I will not judge you for it because that 7:36 first pitch was a problem. And then, so Jackson's Kleinschmidt's in. I'll have to ask Jackson this, and y'all can tell me if you agree or whether you share this. But in this day and age, I rarely watch one thing at a time.
No, I agree.
Right? That. And it's dangerous because we could lose the ability to single focus. We have to be careful. And so Friday nights for me are just this was kind of the accumulation of a week, especially in this pocket of the sports season. Right? Sports seasons have pockets that we have to follow. Husker football season, of course, is year round. and you react accordingly. And then whatever the hot Husker athletic sport of the moment, that, will sometimes slide above Husker football as the focus. Then the national events, maybe the Olympics, Super Bowl, NFL opening day, Major League Baseball opening day, NHL. And we need to do better at covering NHL. I mean, I still follow the NHL in full. Not everybody does. And I fully accept that. Then add to that, I've got some friends who are fighting in the UFC tonight at the Apex in Las Vegas. So I was tracking them, talked to one of them about how her weight cut was going, because it was a brutal weight cut. And again, we could talk about that as well. But then a thing happens where one of the things you're watching gets really good. It gets good. And you're trying to figure out, in this time of, like, on a day when there's 16 college NCAA baseball games, and none of them are on schedule. Like, none of them are on the schedule that was set. So your game watching doesn't work. Sometimes, 3 or 4 at a time. And then the weather, inclement weather around the country kind of just threw that into chaos. So the Huskers first pitch around 7:36. Women's softball. So I get into Florida and Tennessee, and they're having an SEC Donnybrook, right? That looks, pretty exciting game. And then Florida, I think, surprising people in knocking off Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee knocking off Florida. And then Ole Miss and Oregon started later. But that game went 10 innings.
Oh my gosh.
10 innings. It's Ole Miss ties it. They're down 5-3. They tie 5-2. They tie it in the top of the 7th. 5-5. And it goes to 10 innings. And I'm like, I'm supposed to get up tomorrow morning. This is late. Like, this is late. And I'm like, nope, I'm not a quitter. I need to watch this. Like, I need to. And then it led me to ask the question, because as the Husker game, until the Huskers rallied, that was, you just kind of, for 7 innings, you just kind of, la-di-da, la-di-da. Softball was way more intriguing. So I was led to ask this question. One, that in the era of multitasking, multi-watching, etc., has college softball gotten more exciting than college baseball?
Oh,
like the College World Series, and I know that you're now watching the best of the best, but if you went back a week, right? And I said this thing that I figured out, that when Jordy Ball and the Husker softball team were playing and men's baseball were playing in the Big Ten tournament, I was still leaning, my needle leaned more towards softball. And there were a couple of things that jumped in play. One, the action, the sounds of the game are different. And I think that's true at almost every level. That softball has a different conversation going on during the game and more action. Softball has figured out I think that they have figured out the perfect distance between bases, because every play in softball is bang, bang. It was amazing, bro. It was amazing to watch. Any ground ball, any direction was bang, bang at the bag. It was a bang, bang play. And I kept thinking, man, they figured this out. They've really figured this out. This is perfect. Stolen base, it is always bang, bang. So much so that in a softball game, now you're at the point of the season where, and I didn't notice it during the year, but how many calls they have about stealing early, leaving the bag early, obstruction, defensive player obstructing the bag, blocking the bag. All sorts of little mechanical things, foot placement at home plate, stepping out of the box as you're making contact with the ball before you make contact with the ball. And I don't remember it being as many calls, especially in critical mass, like critical moments. But I was sitting there last night, and literally, it was a moment where there were 7 consecutive outs that were all in dispute. 7 consecutive outs. It was like, look at the replay. We're gonna go to the headphones. We're gonna go to video. We're gonna we need to talk about the rule. And I just thought that doesn't happen in the College World Series for baseball.
No.
Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. And I don't know if it's because in the evolution of softball, one, the game has evolved and rules have changed, but also the athletes for women's college softball are remarkable now. And I'm not saying they weren't then. It's a different game then. The game is more explosive now. The game is more competitive now. They did a video online showing, I want to say, like the 1983 national championship game for softball, right? And some of it had some of the people who were playing in it were coaches now. So the players had never seen their coach play. Different bats, like the technology of bats, not the same. Not the same. I can tell you from experience, the bats that they have now, first of all, aluminum. I play with wood. But I'm old enough that I did get the choice of playing with aluminum bats at some point. And understanding the technology of it. The baseballs are different. The softballs are different. And they were playing, because the old videos they were playing with white softballs, which they don't do anymore, right? So it just looks, right? So the bat sounds different. The ball coming off the bat sounds different. Pitching, the athletes were in different levels of conditioning. There's no other way to say it, but that the softball players that I went to school with aren't in the type of shape and didn't play the number of games that the current college players play. And I don't remember it being as locked in. I don't remember it. I don't remember it. So I was switching back and forth, and I realized, no, these games are fire. It was the competition level. I need for them to now go into the technology and tell me bat speed. Like I'm officially, like, I'm curious about softball bat speed. I'm curious about, I mean, we're hearing more about miles per hour in the circle, right? Carlin Pickens kind of has set a new standard for how quick people are throwing. There was a lot of conversation in this year's baseball season about time between pitches. Like, I saw several times last night. Matter of fact, it happened in the Nebraska game, where a batter in the 20 seconds, a batter has to be locked in the plate, 2 hands on the bat, and eyes to the pitcher at 8 seconds. If not, it's a strike. And I just thought, what else are you doing? Like, seriously, I'm a member of the club. I had a bunch of machinations in between pitches, right? I mean, I need to retighten the glove, get some dirt on the hands, reset the helmet, whatever it was. But you don't need 20 seconds between every pitch to get a signal. Stay in the box.
Yeah.
Is a novel concept. But I can't imagine, and maybe you can help me, does that rule apply in Major League Baseball? There's not hey, you have to be in the box at 8 seconds, eyes to the pitcher rule in Major League Baseball, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right? So,
there's just a pitch clock, right?
Right. There's a pitch clock,
Yeah.
and at some point, in between it. But it's a weird thing to me.
As well.
That And hey, 8 seconds is arbitrary. Like you could have said that at 4 seconds, there's a red light that goes on that says it's time for you, it's time for the pitch.
Bing.
But at 8 seconds, so the Husker batter, he was, again, tightening gloves, going through it at 20, right? You get to 12, he gets his sign, steps in the box, plants his feet, gets both hands on the bat, except at 9, he looks down at his feet or at home plate. And the umpire just a simple strike. And I thought, why 8 seconds? Who came up with 8 seconds? Why is 8 seconds the number that sets everything off? And so I didn't quite understand it, but I was like, okay, this is what happens in the condensed vacuum, where every game, every out, every pitch matters, and every call is an important call. But that's what's happening now, and I can't imagine any coach I ever played for ever being okay with giving up a strike because you were looking down at home plate. Like it in a game that matters, in a NCAA tournament game, you took a strike because you weren't ready. And it happened a couple of times in other games, and I just went, this is remarkable. It was never a part of any game I ever played. And even in, high-level competitive softball, there were people that stood around and umpire would just tell you, get in the box. Get in the box. If the pitcher was there with the ball, toe on the rubber, you as a hitter, get in the box. Get in the box. Don't play with me. So there's so much of this weird stuff going on, but I just kept noticing that all of the softball, that literally every ball that was hit, the play at the bag was bang, bang. And ground ball to shortstop, ground ball to third, ground ball to second. And you get used to the timing. There is an internal clock for players based on your arm, where you're positioned, to know how much time I have and how hard I have to throw the ball to make this out happen. Like, if you hit it to me where I'm positioned, I don't even have to work at the throw. My natural rhythm should be able to get you out by a step and a half. But you also know the internal clock of when it's going to be close, and you put extra zip on the ball. But that's when errors happen. That's when throwing errors happen. When the internal clock speeds up and tells you, oh, you got to rush, you got to hurry. And then you either get to the ball and aren't prepared because you're rushing, your mechanics have changed, or you speed up your throw and try to put more on it. And the harder you try to throw, the more your mechanics change, depending on the type of player you are. But softball, every play, bang, bang. I stayed up last night, watched that. It was pretty remarkable. Today's a full day of games. There's a 2:00 first pitch for Oklahoma and Texas. And then there is a 6:00 first pitch for Texas Tech and UCLA. And then the teams that won last night, Tennessee and Oregon, will play Sunday against the losers of who plays tonight. Who lose the two games today. If you lose, you're in elimination games along the way. Today for the Huskers, it's a big day because in a 7-4 game they battled. They are who they are. They are who they are. And they faced a stud. For those that had not seen Witherspoon deal, sir, go ahead and get your Major League Baseball money. Because that young brother he had sauce. We used to call that, this dude's saucy. This dude is saucy. There's drip coming off whatever he threw. fastball, late heat, looked like it was picking up speed in the last third of the effort from his hand. We call that heavy, right? That it just seemed like it was getting faster when it got to you. His delivery was smooth. It never changed. He had no tells, right? He wasn't tipping pitches, but he had no tells in his motion. Sometimes in the motion, you can get a tip. Foot placement, bill of the cap, eyes, none of that. This dude was mechanical. But man, he had movement on everything he threw. It was saucy. The Huskers battled, but some of this was just being overmatched. And you get used to it. I mean, there are pitchers in the Big Ten who throw high 90s. But when they say to you, yeah, he popped the radar at 102. What? Jackson, there's a moment when, so as a college player, there were okay, so I was better against hard throwers. The harder you threw, the better my swing was because I did less better. I simply, I wasn't trying to do too much. Here comes heat. I need to battle. But pitchers who threw junk gave me problems. Because there's no, what are you doing? Why are you throwing it? It's disrespectful for you to throw that. Don't throw 79 at me, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing? And you're like, okay, if you're going to throw that, then I'm going to make you pay. Well, no, the mature thing is, no, just do what you do. It should be easier. When somebody turned up the radar like that, it becomes a different kind of disrespectful. Like, you're not just going to stand there and throw 100 at me, bruh. Like, I'm a grown man. What are you doing throwing 100 at me? Like, that is disrespectful. And now I got to fight you. Like, and I felt that from the Husker players. It was, sometimes they would take a pitch and look back at the huddle and look back at the dugout. Like, did you see this? Did you? And sometimes you just shake the head, just walk it off and just go, hey. I normally have a plan, but 100.
Yeah.
And he was regularly dancing at 97, 98. Even in innings 5 and 6, he was still pumping 98, 90. And you go, yep, that's the guy who gets drafted on draft day.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dude, man. That's a dude. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Isaac. Appreciate you. Yeah, Anthony says, good morning, fellas. Listening via car buds while mowing the yard. Parents are about to be here from Southern Missouri to visit me and my better half. Most importantly, play with our 4-month-old son, Mavericks. Looking forward to some fam time today. Good on you, Anthony. A perfect way to start your Saturday morning. Isaac says, go Knicks and go Big Red. This is a big, we'll talk about game 6 because this is what conference finals should feel like. It should feel like it is a task and a great reward and great disappointment at risk, all of that in play. So we'll talk about that. Again, it's one-on-one. Never know what you're going to get, but come on back and find out.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say It's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing your family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Bros Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text the word HOME to 402-534-1919. That's HOME to 402-534-1919.
Father's Day is coming soon, and you know what that means. Backyard parties and lots of grilling. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning keep you ready all grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more. You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Yo, this is Flavor Flav, and I am coming at you with one of my flavor faves, Raising Cane's. Those hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce hit hard and gets your boy feeling right every time, just in time. Know what I mean? So when you're looking for flavor fast, order in a flash, online or on their app. Yeah, boy, Raising Cane's. One love.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. One-on-one on a Saturday. Justin Kleinschmidt making it happen we were talking Husker baseball. So, and it just here's why it gets confusing, because so I get an email from Nebraska baseball, right? Nebraska baseball, and it says official email from Nebraska baseball. Game day, Holy Cross, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus. That's what it says. So it says. But on Huskers.com, baseball, live stats, live feeds, 12 noon.
Could it be? Could it be 12 Eastern?
If
maybe
it's 12 Eastern,
and then that would be correct.
Well,
but I think it's 12. I think it's 12 Central. That's why I'm confused.
this is what I was trying to figure out. I was like, well,
What they
wait
do
a
to
minute.
us. This is what they do.
Right. So but in the email from Nebraska baseball, the official,
Yeah, I got it too.
I'm going to say what they said.
11
So
a.m.
11
Central.
o'clock,
Yeah.
11 o'clock, and it doesn't say time zone. Well, it says 11 o'clock Central.
Yeah, it does.
11 o'clock Central. So that's what I'm going to do. And here's a weird thing that I hadn't figured out, that so many people in Lincoln don't have ESPN Plus.
I didn't know that.
That's funny to me.
Because I have ESPN Plus.
But like, I get that we're sportsters, right?
Yeah.
We're sportsters.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're on the text line, and can you tell me if you're one of the people who don't have ESPN Plus?
I'm actually kind of curious.
Yeah, like there are things like what's everything to you is not everything to everybody else.
That's fair.
And I have to get used to that. Like, I'm the same way in NBA season. There are people who don't have NBA ticket. I'm like, or people that don't have NFL ticket. They don't have NBA pass. They don't have NFL ticket. I don't know. I don't know how you're living your life if you don't have NFL ticket, Sunday ticket. Like, what kind of decisions are you making in your life?
Yeah.
Like, but there's a weirdness to me saying it out loud, because I know for a fact that my wife would never have NFL Sunday ticket.
I get the Sunday ticket and the red zone. I don't know if you're a red zone guy. It depends on the person.
Well, it depends. Okay, so
Big red zone guy.
but this is the multiple universe, several things streaming at the same time, and you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
About your ability to just watch a thing. And it shows up World Series, Super Bowl, NBA Finals. Your ability to, like, when we go to Buffalo Wings and Rings and we sit there and watch a game, we watch a game. Think about that you haven't watched a single game unless you go to the game. Like, I do love the fact that Husker fans, and I think it's true, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, do Husker fans, okay, so if you're at the game, you're obviously watching the game.
Yes.
But if it's an away game, I think Husker Nation is so unique that I would say half of Husker fans only watch the Husker game. There's nothing else that exists during a Husker game. Like, you're not multi-streaming. You don't have a second screen up with Red Zone or right, or ESPN, and it's multi-screen. Or do you? So if the Huskers, let's say, especially, maybe it depends on the game, right? Big Ten, locked in. But if it's a non-con, but they're not doing non-cons on the road, so so let's say it's Northwestern away.
Okay.
Is it just Nebraska and Northwestern, or do you have on your phone or on a laptop, a tablet somewhere, whatever else is going on?
I think it depends on what games are available that week too. For me, anyways. For other people, it's
I don't. But this is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, and I don't know if there is a right answer.
There's like some really good, just some high profile.
So let's say for the sake of it that it's Nebraska Northwestern on the road. So you're not at Memorial Stadium.
Okay.
And you're somewhere watching the game. Probably at home. At home. On the big screen is Nebraska Northwestern.
Yes.
Do you have your computer or your laptop streaming Wisconsin, Iowa?
Oh, no. No.
Do you have your big screen streaming Oregon, USC?
Ooh.
Right?
Potentially.
Right? And I don't know that answer is – I don't know that answer is the same answer for every Husker sport.
Yeah.
Right? Husker volleyball, when Husker volleyball is on, are you fully locked in, or is there Husker basketball or Big Ten? Like, do you multi-stream, multitask? What do you do? I don't know what the answer is.
I'll give you my example.
Okay.
I think would have been last year. I think we played. It was the day we played. We played. I can't remember who the football game was, but it was the night that we played Wisconsin at the Devaney, and we beat them in 5 sets.
Mm-hmm.
That day we had a football game. I can't remember who we played. I think we won. For some reason, I thought Michigan. It's not Michigan. It would have been 21st of October. So whoever we played then. I just remember seeing everybody go from Memorial Stadium and just walk all the way to the Devaney as soon as the game ended.
Well, but that's on purpose. They do that several times a year, and that's on purpose. Here's my thing. And I'm not sure that it's this way everywhere, that whatever the percentage is, and I would love to have a study that says for Husker football, how many people who watch the game when you're not at the game?
Yeah.
Are you watching the game? Does anything else exist in the sports spectrum? Like, do you have the scoreboard up? Or are you so entirely locked in? The only thing that exists in the world is Husker football while the game is going on.
I'm usually locked in on the Husker football game unless we're getting mollywopped, which doesn't happen that often. But
right, to lose interest, right, and just go, okay, I need a distraction.
If it's we're playing Michigan at home, and it's like whatever it was that game the last time we played them at home, like that's the type of game about. Okay, I could pay attention. I'm not gonna completely turn it off because that's just not who I am. But I could go like flip channels, go check on some other games, and then come back to the Nebraska game.
And I think that Husker football is different in that, I can tell you that BYU, when BYU plays football, there's nothing else to a BYU fan. Nothing else. It's BYU football and God. Like that's it. Like that's it. But it's not the same at Utah. It's not the same at Utah, right down the street. If we said Texas, University of Texas, if Texas fans love Texas football, but I'm not sure that they shut down everything else to do it. Notre Dame football. It used to be that Notre Dame football was the only thing. It was Notre Dame football and God. On game day, there was nothing but Notre Dame football while the game was on and God. But I don't know that any other game going on. Again, old school was you didn't have 50 games to choose from. So we had to learn how to watch multiple things. We had one TV in the house. You had one channel that you could turn on. That was it. It evolved into, with cable, being able to flip back and forth. Oh, there's several games going on. Okay, now what do you do? And it used to be that one channel got, NBC got, CBS got the early game that was the only game that was on. You didn't even get to see the other games that were playing. You got reports on what the other games were that were playing. You didn't get to see them. Update from Chicago. Walter Payton, you didn't have option. And then NBC got an AFC game at 4:00 in the afternoon, or the second game. And you did not get to see all the other games. You got the game that was sent to your market, and then you got updates. And that was it. And there was no Sunday night game. Monday Night Football was so big because it was an opportunity where you got to see somebody other than what was programmed into your market on Sunday. And it was, And the Monday night games was a chance for you to actually see other teams play. You didn't know how good anybody was because you didn't see them. Like you got reports and you read magazines and and there was no ESPN. ESPN comes along and then all of a sudden you get reports, right? George Michael Sports Machine. You get reports on, oh my goodness, we're going to take you to Green Bay. This is what it looks like in Lambeau Field. You had no idea. And so in the evolution of it, my question is for Husker fans. And Bill and Bennett, you're great. Corbett, you can chime in. Please do. When Husker football is playing, I'm pretty sure that I want to say the number's higher than 50%. 75%? 3 out of every 4 Husker fan that loves the Huskers. No other game is on when the Huskers are on. And I think 3 out of 4. It could be 4 out of 5. But tell me if I'm wrong. But I'm saying that to say it's not that way everywhere in the country. It's not that way for every program. And I mean, it's a handful of programs that are so unique to that space and such a part of the fabric of the place that when that team plays, nothing else exists. And I had that problem in DC because it was Redskins and nothing else. And then when you introduced anything else to it, people got upset. Like, what are you doing? And like, I know sports bars here will try to put like every TV on Huskers football during Husker football. But there are people who want to see other games who, as we said, may or may not have ESPN Plus, right? May or may not have, ESPN. So they go to the bar because other things can be shown there. And then the people who are there to watch Huskers, believing that everybody's there to watch the Huskers, then have to deal with and consume and ponder, well, wait a minute, why do I need Tennessee LSU over here? LSU might be another place where that happens.
Yeah.
Aggie football, Texas Aggie football. Texas Aggie football more so than Texas Longhorn football. Aggies are about their business. They don't care nothing about none of the rest of the stuff. Aggies are on, that's all that's on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's the case for Texas because it's Austin. Austin is a different vibe. It's a different sort of space.
A lot of things going on there.
In California, no.
There's a million things.
There's a million things going on. No.
Yeah, there's
a million things going on. Not really it. No. There's. I would think that there's maybe, man, that would be a great study. Like 10 programs in the country where when the football team plays, nothing else exists in that space.
Yeah.
There aren't that many.
That's definitely Nebraska for sure.
I think if you're in that 3 out of 4 range, I think half is kind of the measuring stick that there are some blue blood programs where that's everything. I'm not sure. I would think maybe Ohio State.
Yeah.
Maybe Michigan. Ohio State more than Michigan.
Definitely now.
More than Michigan. Pockets of the country. Florida State, Miami.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
But Miami's not that way anymore.
No, Miami's definitely not that way.
Miami's not that way anymore. Florida's not that way anymore.
I mean, FSU,
Alabama,
UF,
Alabama's in the.
Yeah, that was one.
Alabama, absolutely.
Bama for sure.
Not Auburn.
No.
Georgia,
iffy.
The Silver Britches, that's close. That's close. I don't know. I don't know if they make that. In Georgia and Tennessee. Tennessee is a little bit high. Tennessee more than Georgia.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
that's actually right. That's definitely correct.
Well, yeah, that's fascinating. We'll come back. We'll continue this conversation because I would love to know. I would love to know that answer. 1-on-1 Saturday, 937 The Ticket.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to 1-on-1 with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
For a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Ever stare at the Hog Wild menu and feel like you just can't make up your mind because it all looks so good? Well, when I want a little bit of everything, I get a little bit of everything on Hog Wild's Smokestack Sandwich. On a butter-toasted bun, we pile on our hickory smoked beef brisket and juicy hot links. The hard part is choosing between fresh curly fries, classic baked beans, or coleslaw on the side. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to One on One with DP Sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's Saturday morning, and remember, I warned you guys, down the rabbit hole we go, and we could never come out until the next fuzzy shiny thing shows up later. And it's become apparent to, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently that Nebraska football matters more to its fans than most. 98% of all sports fans in their teams, that on par, Nebraska football means more to its fans than, I mean, Alabama football is in the conversation. BYU football is in the conversation. I'm not sure Texas A&M, I would almost say Texas A&M cares as much.
That's fair.
And then we could bundle in all of the military academies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because once you're West Point, you're West Point forever.
Yeah.
And it's all that matters. Your Naval Academy, that's your jam, and there's nothing else. I'm not sure that any of the big state schools fall in play. California, no. Florida, no. Not now. You could have said this in the earlier days, but you can't say it now. Technology has absolutely crushed this thing. More games being available all the time. Technology's just done that. But the idea that any of this stuff, there's the black shirt. Look at Terrell Farley flexing. I don't know. I don't know that Georgia fans rate. I don't think that Texas fans rate. LSU is close. I don't know. What am I like? UNLV basketball back during their championship run was pretty eclectic. Duke basketball fans would fall in this conversation.
Yeah.
But not North Carolina basketball fans.
No.
And I lived in Carolina, and I can tell you, them two get at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think Duke fans, because they didn't always have powerful Duke football, and they didn't always, Carolina football was always relatively good, was generally better than Duke football. So they always had that, those battles of schools you go to and you beat them in basketball and go, wait till football, wait till and that's kind of where that works. Like it's Nebraska and Creighton. And it matters so much more because Creighton doesn't have football.
Yeah.
So you get some of that passion transferred over. And I just think that this state is so unique in that space. I'm literally trying to think of like Iowa football. I don't know does Iowa football matter as much? Like, I'm not sure that Iowa is the football school now. I think that Iowa State might be the football school.
Ooh.
Right? If you said higher ceiling, it might be Iowa State.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in Nebraska. Doesn't exist. Colorado? No. Trying to think, going state to state, pocket to pocket. Tennessee is as close to Nebraska as I can say. Because 100,000 people who come by car, van, mobile home, and boat to Neyland Stadium to put 100,000 people in.
And boat.
If you haven't put that on your bucket list of things to do, is to go to Tennessee and get one of those charters that take the boat that park and tailgate at Neyland. It's pretty exceptional. And again, there's not a lot of places that have that type of experience. And I don't think there's anybody else in the Big Ten who is on that pole with Nebraska. at the top of the poll. But I got a text and it asked the question because I mentioned the Mount Rushmore of fan bases. But then somebody asked the question, and I'm going to load this for 10 o'clock. We'll go to break, come back, and bring the second hour. But here's the thing. The question that was asked, what is the Nebraska sports Mount Rushmore? Gosh. What is it?
All right.
What is it? And it's not just Husker, but it can be. Twofold. Is there a Husker Mount Rushmore? And is there a Nebraska sports? Because there are folks like Bob Gibson that may want to enter the chat if you're doing Nebraska. So let's start with Husker and then let's go to Nebraska. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll do that top of the hour here on the Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who serve today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all of your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free thanks to the brave.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through May 25th, enjoy all-natural whole bone-in pork butt for $1.49 per pound. Buy 5, get 5 free on brat patties. 10-pound tubes of 85% ground beef, just $2.88 per pound when you buy $100 in meat and groceries. And 6-ounce USDA Choice bacon-wrapped filet mignon, $9.99 each. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Are you looking for a place to relax and unwind after a long week? Grata Bar and Lounge is the perfect spot to enjoy a full menu and in-house DJs on Friday and Saturday nights. If you're wanting to start your Saturday or Sunday off the right way, stop by for brunch starting at 9 a.m. Don't forget, Grata offers a full catering service as well for those graduation parties, birthday celebrations, and weekend family get-togethers. Give Grata Bar and Lounge a call today at 402-261-3019 or visit them in person at 70th and A in the Clock Tower Shopping Center.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
There is Husker baseball at 11 a.m. this morning against Holy Cross. 11 a.m. They are going to trot out a 9-win starter after trotting out a 9-win starter that held the number one North Carolina Tar Heels to 4 runs. And this is 1A and 1B for Holy Cross. Huskers will throw out somebody that actually, Ty was top-notch in the Big Ten Tournament Championship game. Should be a battle. Huskers have a little bit more pop at the plate. Holy Cross is sharp defensively. It's going to be a good one. 402-464-5685. You want to be a part? Hit me with a what's up. Appreciate you folks who have been active on the text line this morning. Bill and Bennett, appreciate it. He says, I don't have ESPN Plus, but I prefer the radio call. And that is a signal that of ownership of the program. And that happens in pockets around the country where fans are more loyal to the local call, the local voice that they know, the person that goes through the battle with them. All of that is fair. We'll see what the next version of that's going to be, because we don't know.
True.
We don't know. Yep. Brad says, yeah, ESPN, the good games will be on ESPN. That's a true thing. Probate says, I have ESPN Plus, but it's with the bundle. Yep, all of that's true.
Yep.
Right? That's generally
Me
that.
too.
But I mean, today, that's where the game is. Game's on ESPN Plus.
Yes.
And, of course, the weather was playing havoc with the schedule yesterday. And it may do the same today because there's rains in different pockets of the country. And so some of the games that were originally assigned as ESPN Plus games may end up on the mothership because the game that they had scheduled is in a weather delay.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of they have the multiple game screen for ESPN.
Yeah.
If you have the Plus and you have access to that, you can do that. We've been all over the place. Fullback chat says, I think they win 6-3 today, but don't make it out of the regional, unfortunately. First of all, the number one team in the country is hosting.
Yeah,
And there are people that tried to rank North Carolina 5th amongst the regional hosts. But Nebraska ended up in a place where there's some horses out there, man. There are some stud pitchers. There are some arms in this bracket. This regional has dudes. Like this region is so good that no matter who gets out of it today, right? So this is an elimination game for the Huskers. You're playing for your season, all hands on deck. Wonderful. If they win, they're going to get the number 3 pitcher from either North Carolina or Oklahoma. And the Huskers will battle. No matter what, they will battle. Backs against the wall. Like, they win today, and I think we can start to have some fun because then you're just the spoiler, right? You're just the spoiler, and you get to make chaos happen. But Holy Cross would love to be the spoiler. I mean, again, they took on the number 1 seed and their number 1 pitcher, or their number 2. Well, no. Well, they had 2 number 1s, so there's that. Yeah, they have 2 number 1s. North Carolina gets a 12-win starter who beats Holy Cross, and then, oh, by the way, here comes another 12-win starter. Holy Cross was the same way, though. 9, and it's 9 wins in that league, and it's a little bit different. But today's starter was the starter when they beat Auburn. When Holy Cross beat Auburn, this is the guy that took the bump and did the work. So Holy Cross is exactly what you would imagine from a school from that conference. They're scrappy. This is a scrappy, put the ball in play, defend, make plays, make people beat you type of squad. And they're playing for their lives too. On an elimination day, all bets are off, man. You better make plays. You got to make plays. If we win today, they will play the loser of Oklahoma, North Carolina tomorrow morning. There is the part that Nebraska plays late. They finished late, and then you have to get up, reload, refuel, regenerate, and then hit the on switch for an 11 o'clock first pitch today. That's not easy to do. That's why those schedules generally don't work that way. Because it means, especially in an elimination format, because if it's just a weekend series, you're planning, and there are people that aren't in your lineup on late Friday night who you plan to use Saturday morning. They used a ton of arms last night. And all hands are on deck. And I would imagine that everybody has to be available today because if you don't, you'll have all summer to rest. 11 o'clock first pitch. So, yeah, and then if they win, they will get an angry hornet's nest tomorrow. Well, I mean, that's what today is. It's two teams with their back not only against the wall but in the corner. And these types of games, I mean, Nebraska's familiar with. They understand. They know how to get through those. So, okay, familiar space. I do like the Huskers 1 through 9 lineup more than Holy Cross, but Holy Cross does not have Nebraska fear. It has a schedule of enough. Listen, Jaden Wawoda, 9-2, started 15 games, threw 2 complete games, 9-2 record, 75 innings pitched, 78 strikeouts in those 75 innings. If you're plus a strikeout per inning, you've got stuff. And again, it doesn't really matter who you're playing against. Doesn't really matter. They have 4 hitters who are above 300, and then the numbers, kind of drop fair to middling. But you're talking about teams that put the ball in play. They defend the ball well. They defend well, and they don't make a ton of mistakes. Now, the pressure is higher. The competition is higher. So this is where the things happen. But you're certainly not surprised in the battle. I mean, again, they played North Carolina at their own crib, and it was a 4-0 game. So, tune in. Let me know where you're watching the game, whether you're watching at home, whether you're going out and about to watch it. Here's where we were. And it went deeper during the break because we had a Hall of Famer, Black Shirt Terrell Farley, pop his head in the door. And I asked him a question, and this is what happens. The thread pulls the sweater. Like you start pulling on the thread and you realize that there's a sweater attached. That I asked the question because I think Husker fans are on the Mount Rushmore of especially college football fans. College football fans. Husker fans are absolutely in that special place where not only do they show up in great numbers and have for an eternal period of time, but also that the games themselves, when they exist, mean more than in most places across the country. And there are places that will tell you their fans love their teams and their programs, but there's only a handful that are in the conversation with Nebraska fans and their love for their Huskers, especially Husker football. There just aren't. And we know that they're on the Mount Rushmore of volleyball fans. Oh,
Yeah.
like you're at the top of it. Okay.
yeah,
Yep. You're at the top of it. In support and longevity. Basketball, maybe not. Because the results haven't necessarily set that up.
Yeah.
But that's because of the legends. And I asked the question, and I think there's several parts of the question. The first question that I will ask is for Jackson Kleinschmidt to come up with the Nebraska football Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Now, wherever your mind goes, because your mind could go with everybody, all Huskers.
No.
Every single Husker. But in order to have this conversation, let's start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with Husker players.
Players. Okay, there we go.
And then in the next segment, Husker players and coaches.
Husker players and coaches.
And then Nebraska as a state.
Man.
So Nebraska football players. So imagine near the airport, there is a mountain of stone that's going to be carved so that anybody that flies in during football season, you're going to see the Mount Rushmore of Husker football players. As a matter of fact, it's going to be outside of Memorial Stadium. Right? This huge, beautiful stone mountain carved with the faces of the four most iconic, greatest iconic. I'm not sure what
I think they go with 2 and 2.
Right? That 4. So text line, give me your 4.
Okay.
Jackson, give me your 4.
My 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Jet.
Okay.
Sue. Tommy. Oh, man. It gets hard after that. But those 3 I feel pretty confident about, those 3. Sue, Johnny, Tommy. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going Brooke. I am going to go Brooke. He already has a statue, but I would put Brooke up there just because the impact he had on and off the field.
What was the impact?
On the team. He embodies everything that a Husker is. Just the culture of Nebraska. Like, I feel like he would have to be up there because of that. I know he's not. No. Listen, he didn't go first round. I know that. Like, I get that.
I'm just
to me, he embodies everything a Husker is. He already has a statue, but I would put him up. I am putting him on there.
I don't know that any of it's wrong. As I tell people all the time when giving their opinions, you can't be wrong because it's your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's zero chance you get it right because there are people who just
like,
not really that thing. So give me your 4 again. Behringer.
Yeah, Brooke. Yeah, Behringer. Tommy Frazier, Johnny Rogers, and Dominican Sue.
So no accounting for Heisman's or national championships being considered.
That's just my 4. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If it's not Brooke, I probably would have put Mike Rozier.
What about Crouch?
That's hard. You have to choose one or the other, and I don't know. I think Mike had more of a impactful season, especially that Heisman season.
I mean, what about Rich Glover?
Exactly. It's just it's hard to pick 4. Yeah, I mean,
to pick.
Farley had a great point. It's got to be like a 6 head, maybe an 8 head.
Well, I don't because I don't know that. I don't know that Ndamukong Suh's career was better than Rich Glover's, especially.
I don't know about that.
Tell me in the biggest game of the century, which one made 22 tackles?
Hey, it was Rich Glover. It's fact.
won the trophy as the best lineman in the country. In the game, in the same year, the game of the century was won.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that that's not the best defensive performance in Nebraska football history. How many fumbles did he cause that day? Tackles for loss.
That I don't know.
But this is my thing.
I know the 22.
This is my point. That Husker fans historically have to be aware that there were others before your generation and before your history began. That if you're going to have discussion over the best defensive players at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, that you have to start. Like there's some dudes. There's some dudes. We're going to talk about the Pat Fishers and Ron McDowell's and that dude. And we don't even get to those dudes that went on to have 15-year careers in the NFL with success and all those things. But come on, like the go-to answer. That's the answer for everything. Yeah, House of Spears was everything, but Rich Glover was a dude.
Not Dave Remington. That's a good one. For
It's a dude. Like you have to have it right. You have to have the discussion. That Remington, the trophy, right? The trophy. And there are people in having the discussion to say how amazing Dave Remington was, that he may not be the best lineman, offensive lineman in Nebraska football history.
Who's better than him?
Take your list. Go to Pipeline.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry.
Go to Pipeline.
I wasn't thinking.
Go to Pipeline. You're talking about a program.
That's a great point.
I
kind of forgot Pipeline.
Right. I mean, Chris Leininger says this. He says, in my opinion, you have to go with the 3 Heisman winners and then with Sue for the 4th because he was second in the Heisman voting as a defensive lineman.
Yeah,
and I'm not against it. But do yourself a favor, Glover, Google Rich Glover Heisman. All-American. Stats. Yep. Corp says Rogers, Rozier, Gill, Tommy Frazier. And that is part of the discussion part, is that there are those that if you rank Nebraska quarterbacks, I'm not sure that Brooke is quarterback 1B. I'm not sure he's quarterback 2.
Well, no, I'm not. I wouldn't throw. If we're talking about just best quarterbacks of all time, but like Mount Rushmore has a different feel than just like what they did on the field, though. To me, anyways. I don't know about.
This is the part.
Yeah.
That people will inject some things into it, right? That if Nebraska fans will tell me you could choose one quarterback out of Brooke and Turner, there are some that would have that conversation about a bunch of quarterbacks. Jerry Taggy. Like, wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Jerry Taggy.
I mean, you talk about what a Husker is. Torn jersey, double bar, face mask, eye black under, socks pulled down from people yanking at his ankles. Taggy's a dude. And did it. Some would say that he carried that team. Johnny made the biggest plays, had the biggest highlights. But does that team win without Taggy?
No, didn't he score the
the
national championship?
But that's my point. That Husker fan, and I just want you to process. So you're on the committee and you get a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, okay, this is what we're going to do, the Mount Rushmore of this Husker football. And the 4 greatest Husker football players. Not performers, most accolades, most awards, whatever it is, right? But in order to be amongst the 4 greatest of all time, you had to be one of the 4. You had to be the greatest in your time. Like, isn't that like a fair? You have to be the greatest in your time. And if you tell me that Rozier, Lawrence Phillips, Amon Green. What he was saying? That if you had all of them do, and on a team with Jet, Taggy, Glover, hey man, say it. On a team with Turner, Fryer, Rozier, Steinkuhler. Like, we have names, and you go to the 95, go through the real process years, 94, 95, 97, 96, go to 2000, go to 2009, where the runs are so deep and the talent was so deep that people get caught in the wash. But the four that, if, let's just say, you're explaining to your son how great Husker football is, and you only get one shot, and you get to say who the 4 greatest Husker football players are, what would you say? Is the answer the same?
I actually kind of liked the all 3 Heismans, because you can't put that award down. That's the pinnacle award to get in college football. So I would put all 3 Heisman winners up there, and then I'd probably still go Sue, just because he's widely regarded as the greatest, or one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to win not win the Heisman. Sorry, to not win the Heisman.
That is a statement true in Nebraska.
That's true nationally.
No.
I've seen that put out nationally by CBS Sports, by multiple outlets.
For somebody that's been in pockets of the country, they don't even identify Ndamukong Suh with Nebraska.
Okay.
That's not the name. That's why he finished second. What Nebraska thinks of Ndamukong Suh is different than what the rest of the country thought about Ndamukong Suh. That's why he didn't win the Heisman. There's no other reason he didn't win the Heisman. The national voters didn't think as much of him as Nebraska did. In a year where the people around him weren't exceptional. That was not a thick Heisman room. And the national people didn't choose him. That says everything. You go around pockets of the country. I've been all over this country covering sports. No, sir. No, sir. Think how Nebraska thinks, and that's great because you're entitled to. But there are people that will talk more about Lawrence Phillips than Ndamukong Suh. They'll talk more about Irving Fryer. They'll talk more about Rich Glover. They'll talk because in the game, as we were talking about earlier, the game in the country, the game of the century that everybody in the country was watching, the biggest play was Johnny the Jet Rodgers. The best player on the field that day was Rich Glover. But that's what that is. We'll change the discussion because then the next question becomes same format, but it's Husker coaches. And do you include, right? Do you include players with the coaches? So for Huskers, they can be coach or player. Who's your Mount Rushmore? Jackson, you're back on the clock. We'll get to it when we come back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring Sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Yo, this is Flavor Flav, and I am coming at you with one of my flavor faves, Raising Cane's. Those hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce hit hard and gets your boy feeling right every time, just in time. Know what I mean? So when you're looking for flavor fast, order in a flash, online or on their app. Yeah, boy, Raising Cane's. One love.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in May. Try a pesto BLT or a pizza bagel for lunch. Also, enjoy a new energy fusion drink in a variety of flavors and get a caramel latte with 10% of all sales going to the Hope Venture. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up
But why?
because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
National Electrical Safety Month is held every May to raise awareness about the importance of staying safe around electricity. Visit les.com/safety for safety tips on power lines, tree trimming, storms, and so much more.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
You're listening to One on One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As we said on a Saturday morning, Lincoln, Nebraska, we're about 30 minutes plus from first pitch. Chapel Hill, Nebraska versus Holy Cross. An elimination game for an opportunity to play tomorrow, same time, against the loser of Oklahoma and North Carolina. after losing 7-4 to North Carolina last night. We were talking about Rich Glover, and I'm making the point. We said that Ndamukong Suh was number 2 in his Heisman voting the year he had the epic year that he had. Rich Glover finished 3rd. Finished 3rd. You know why? You know why? You know where 300 votes went?
Where?
Johnny Rodgers.
The Jet.
Same team, same fan base. Some would say splitting the vote. That 400 first place votes, 400 first place votes went to Nebraska athletes. 400. There were 276 second place votes. Nebraska. 210 third place votes. Nebraska. 400 votes went to Nebraska athletes. 117 went to Greg Pruitt at Oklahoma, who also participated in the game of the century that year. If Johnny Rodgers isn't a Husker that year, Rich Glover wins the Heisman Trophy. He wins the Heisman Trophy.
Well, who was second?
Greg Pruitt.
Ah, okay.
117 first place votes.
Okay.
Johnny Rodgers had 300. Rich Glover had 99. Do you think Husker fans? You think football reporters? 300 of them would have chosen Greg Pruitt over Rich Glover.
I don't think so.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. So when you use the argument that Suh was number 2, well, he was. But you got to put it in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Glover was 3rd. Another Husker was 1st. That's why. That's why. It's crazy. It's crazy. Y'all better put some respect on that man's name. That dude had a career. That dude had a year. And it just bravo to Johnny Jet Rodgers. But the first and third best players in the country were both Huskers. And when it comes to national voting, yeah, people chose Jet. But I would promise you that as Nebraska was doing what Nebraska was doing, that if the Jet wasn't there, that Rich Glover would, a defensive player finished 3rd that year behind the Huskers. So yeah, it is a real thing, man. It is a real thing. Chris says this other thing, you can put 4 different people there depending on what you're looking at. Stats, national notoriety, impact on the team. There's a bunch that goes into it, but that's why we're literally having a discussion. Yeah, I don't have all the answers. I'm literally asking the question. Bill and Bennett says Devaney, Tom Osborne, John Cook, and Rhonda Revelle as the Mount Rushmore of Husker coaches. Bob Devaney, Osborne, Cook, Revelle. Jackson, step up to the microphone. It's your time, sir. You're gonna hit launch, because once Jackson signs it, that's who they're gonna carve. They're gonna take that stone, put pen to. They're gonna put metal to stone and get it done. So steal the stone. What are you gonna do?
Devaney, Osborne, Cook. I gotta think of a 4th. I don't know. I don't know how to throw in 4. I do not know. I don't disagree with Rhonda Revelle.
Well, you have national champions.
Yeah, that's one.
Cook was not the first national champion volleyball coach.
That is true. There's Pettit. I was like, there's more names that I can.
Klempa is in his
Coach
own
Klempa.
space, but he also wasn't the only one. what other sports? I mean, Mark Manning might be.
Yeah, Mark Manning too.
Might be a part of this, but there are coaches at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln that aren't always talked about. There are other Husker football coaches.
We had and the coach still might be there. Wasn't it the soccer coach? One of the teams has been here or was at Nebraska
Well,
for.
I mean, this is the thing that Francis Allen is for track is absolutely the discussion. Gymnastics, you have to consider other sports. You have to consider that there is a. Pull up the Husker Athletic Hall of Fame, and it'll give you a list of the coaches who are in the Hall of Fame.
There we go.
And I think in that conversation, that if you're creating this, it's just an opportunity to say this person deserves consideration. Nobody's wrong in considering it. But Francis Allen would certainly be in the Devaney, Osborne, Cook space. Pettit would also be there.
Francis Allen.
Straub, yep. But that's why I'm asking. So Kevin says Straub, which again, if you're talking about the entirety of the history of Husker athletics, to say how many sports has Nebraska won national championships in, and then the longevity of the success. It's one thing to get to the level of success, but then to actually have longevity in your national championship runs, in your Big 8 conference runs. I'm not sure they were close in baseball to having coaches that were there. Yeah, Klempa has as much juice as anybody. I mean, I think that's when you say that Nebraska bowling is to NCAA college bowling as Nebraska football was to college football. Klemper's still working at the level, and now Mark Manning. I mean, you're talking about a long successful run of being in the top 10, often in the top 5. I mean, we're talking about over a decade of having that run and producing in 2 decades, arguably the greatest wrestler to walk through the door. I mean, Jordan Burrow is, I mean, you have to have, again, what coach had, I mean, you talk about track, where they had several national champions last year. Like you had two women's throwers that were national champions. Like you have to expand the thought. I mean, I know a lot of the focus in the conversation is on football, but the reality is women's basketball has had some coaches of success. You don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. Ravel's run, this is a spectacular run. And if you said, geez, even now, like if you had to set a priority of coaches now for the Mount Rushmore, the current coaches, the top 4 coaches, there's no coach that's more important than Matt Rule. But for production and success at Nebraska, Klempa, Manning, Ravel, and then track, gymnastics. Maybe men's gymnastics ahead of track. I don't know. Kind of in the same space. At being that great for this period of time. That's currently, and again, the most important, right? It's the Behringer thing, right? The image of it versus the actual work of it, the production of it.
Yeah.
But who's done more for Nebraska athletics? What coaches have done the most? What active coaches have done the most for Nebraska athletics? And have that, a year ago, John Cook's at the top of that list. Busboom Kelly just got here. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, that's my point. I think that's the point Kevin was making, that Straub with his 12 national titles in bowling, and So the previous version of college bowling was men's and women's together. So, yes. And I don't, we miss talking about the Olympic sports because, quite frankly, that's how people move. But I find great beauty in the fact that Nebraska has such depth. Now, here's the next phase, though. Mount Rushmore, 4 Huskers get to be on it, coach or player.
That's so difficult. I don't even want to do that.
Right? Like, coaches or players. Coaches or players. That, and you're not going to be wrong because all 4 that you talk about, then you get into the iconic state.
Yeah. That's
like the definition of iconic legacy and legend. That Devaney as the godfather of coaching at Nebraska, even for that, I would love to have get in the time machine and go back to 1965 and hear Husker radio talk about Husker athletics and find out who the people were, right? Back in 1965. I would love to know what sports talk radio would have sounded like in 1965 in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, what were they talking about? I would imagine sports radio was pretty interesting anyway. That radio.
Probably.
I mean, can you imagine the folks? I don't know that anybody. I'm pretty sure stuff's out there, but the folks who talked Husker radio, Husker football during the 70s, during the early 70s, like right 70 to 72, the folks who talked about, I mean, the calls are still great. The calls are still out there, but that would be fascinating to me, is to go back and find clips and be able to play them. That would be special. I would love that. Jackson, get your Google machine running, because
God,
yeah, the 4 greatest Nebraska-based athletes. So that means they could either be born here and gone somewhere else and had success, or they could.
As a running back, I'm thinking of, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, there's a guy, Sayers.
That's I was like, he's definitely on there.
That guy.
I was like, can't remember his name.
You have to be considerate and consider the boys from Creighton. You have to consider. You got to expand. 4 Nebraska. Come on, Jackson. We'll get it. He'll give you his answers when we come back and close out one-on-one.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not instead of keeping that energy you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Play ball!
Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch, families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here, beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
You're listening to One on One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment before we hand it over to Sandman and Tank. The greatest sports athletes, sports figures from the great state of Nebraska. Jackson, what did you come up with?
I got Gale Sayers.
Okay.
I got Bob Gibson.
Okay.
I got to throw one that was one of the ones that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Lawson,
Mm-hmm.
Larson, right? I think that's how you say it.
Jordan Larson from volleyball.
Yeah, from volleyball. I was like, I couldn't remember if it was Larson or Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll still put Johnny on there. I'll still put the Jet.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go with those four.
Those four. Okay. So
for me,
here's something, and quite frankly, what Bob Gibson did to me.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff on that. I was like, I can't not say him.
To me, Bob Gibson is my favorite pitcher of all time, and I think it's pretty simple in saying that changed the way rules were made, changed the way the field was lined up, changed literally the whole way this thing was done. His complete game numbers in the core and apex of his career are universal. Plus, if you wanted to consider that he was the best basketball player in the state of Nebraska for his entire time when he was at Creighton.
Yeah. No, you had to say it.
Right.
I could not.
Like it's there. Gale Sayers, to me, and this is where Big Old certainly has perks and benefits, but in all of my life, my favorite person to ever run with a football is Gale Sayers. Put a football in Gale Sayers' hands, and especially for that era, we did not. There was one Gale Sayers. There was one. We had never seen anything like the Kansas Comet. We'd never seen anything like him, and quite frankly, I'm not sure we've ever seen everything since. The people that we talk about with a football who moved well, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders on a kick return. You could talk about certain players who moved within the game differently than everybody else. Gale Sayers, before his knee injury, was as unique. And you could talk about the moment of watching him on film, returning kicks in 3 inches of mud, making 3 cuts on the return that should defy physics.
Yeah.
There's a great line from Bill Cosby saying he watched Gale Sayers, and he's pretty sure that at one moment 2 defenders had him cornered, and that he saw Gale Sayers' body. The only way he could get through this was Gale Sayers' body split like an amoeba, and avoided both defenders
like an amoeba.
A Nebraska name that you don't talk about, and there's some pro wrestlers that you could talk about. If you want to talk pro wrestling, that Gorgeous George, the icon of all icons when it comes to pro wrestling, because today's version of it doesn't exist without Gorgeous George doing what he did, having Nebraska connections. You have to say it like that. There's the thing. Tom Osborne, and we have to remember to give Tom Osborne credit for being a professional football player. Like we have to remember that. Like we have to remember that. Hey man, this dude caught passes in the pro league. You have in the NFL. You have to give him credit for that as well. Johnny Jet Rodgers and the discussion for all that's there. Richie Ashburn is one of the greatest players ever with connections from they don't I didn't know this until probably a month ago that Grover Cleveland Alexander had Nebraska ties.
I just saw that on here.
I did not know. I mean, you're talking about a 3-time 30-game winner in the major leagues. Like, and this guy threw against some crazy talent against him. Bob Boozer was the guy that all the old heads talk about as a unique athlete in the space, and said he belonged in the conversation with Gale and Bob Gibson. Our own Eric Strickland is on the list.
I see him on here.
Our own Amon Green is on the list.
Yeah.
Jim Hartung, who coached is still on I believe he's still on the staff, or was on the staff at Nebraska. But when it comes to gymnastics, men's gymnastics, Hartung's name is at the top. It's in that Mount Rushmore discussion of athletes. And then one of my favorites, who's on this list, he started Omaha Tech. 4-time American Basketball Association All-Star, the Iron Man of the NBA before AC Greed and his came along and broke his record. But in my time in Utah, when I first went out there, I was paired with the legend, and I can only identify him as such, the legend Ron Boone. And Ron Boone has been an analyst for the Utah Jazz since his playing days. He finished with the Lakers. He went through the ABA. Then the NBA, the early version of the Utah Jazz, was traded to the Lakers, came back, started doing radio and television with the Utah Jazz, and literally held my hand for the first 3 years that I was in Salt Lake City doing radio. And every day it was a history class, because every great athlete in the country had respect for the guy I was sitting next to, and his name was the legend, Ron Boone. You might also know him as the father of Jaron Boone, who still sits in top 5 categories for Nebraska basketball, even to this day. One of the great humans in my career, and I'm thankful. Any chance I get to say, well done, Ron Boone, I will do so. Don't go anywhere. That'll be it for one-on-one, but don't go anywhere. Thanks, Sandman. Coming up, they will hold it down for a bit. More tickets Saturday coming up. And again, Husker first pitch baseball coming up from Chapel Hill against Holy Cross.